We had a client that we worked with, and she was really struggling with profitability. She kept raising tuition. She actually did 3 tuition increases within a 15-month cycle, and she still could not catch up. So I helped her work with our 6 money leaks in schools, and she only used 3 of the 6 money leaks and cut her expenses by 50%. 50. She did not fire anyone, she did not slash any of her programs, and she did not work more hours. Again, the 6 money leaks are not hacks or spreadsheets. These are patterns. They are small decisions that feel so normal that your school does, but they quietly drain your school's profit. So if you've ever wondered why you're working so hard, but still not seeing the return, this is your first step to clarity. Click the link in the show notes and find out what it's actually costing you. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Good to see you all. So many familiar faces, so many new faces. So good to see so many familiar faces. I love that. I love when I do a workshop and we have so many people that come back again and again just to join us. So I appreciate you all giving me your most precious resource, which is your time. Thank you. All right, we got people from everywhere, coast to coast, Arizona, California, New Jersey, Iowa, Midwest. This is amazing. I love it. I love it. Hello and welcome to all of you. All right. Well, I am going to kick us off and get started right away. As people are coming in as well. Again, remember that this is recorded. So even if you're coming in mid-sentence or whatever it is, don't worry, everything's being captured. So let's get started with just a quick introduction to me for those of you that don't know who I am. My name is Chanie and I live and breathe early childhood education. I started as a teacher in an early childhood classroom. I worked in a toddler room. I worked in all levels of leadership as an assistant teacher, an assistant director, a director, an executive manager, and manager. I work intimately with school owners every single day, and I have 4 children of my own. So I understand all sides of the spectrum from as a parent, as an educator, and as a leader. And what's really unique about the perspective that I'm going to be sharing in today's workshop is this is not just theory. These are real strategies from leaders that are implementing this in the last 60 days. This is not pre-COVID strategies. This is not last year's strategies. These are things that have been tested and proven in real classrooms with real challenges in the last 60 days. Because when I talk about being in the trenches, I am not talking about someone who's in the industry who gives advice from an ivory tower or from the keynote on a stage. I talk to owners who are making payroll, who are handling staffing issues, who are balancing enrollment, who are doing all the nitty-gritty stuff. So when I share an idea or a concept, it's because it's been battle tested. So let's dive into some agenda and housekeeping before we get into some other things. First thing is housekeeping, okay? Number one, you're all gonna get the replay. If you registered, you will get the replay. So please do not take frantic notes. Please be fully present. Turn your phone on silent, close the tabs, be here. I promise you're gonna wanna take notes because I'm gonna share a lot. However, you can use the worksheet to take notes if you're that pen and paper girl and you wanna do those notes, but also remember this is recorded. So if you miss something important, don't worry. Number two, this is interactive. So as I am teaching, please drop your questions in the chat. Do not hold them for later. If a question pops up, pop it inside of it. That doesn't mean I'm going to answer it right away, but make sure you're capturing your questions. So put it into the comments. Okay, number three, I am here until the last person leaves. This is your time with me. Be present. Do not get distracted. Be here with me. Okay. Number four, at the end of the training, I will be talking about our school leadership program. If you're considering the program, you will have a chance to book an enrollment call afterwards. Okay. So make sure that you're staying here, you're focused, you're going to get your questions answered, all the things. All right. So I want to get started with a quick opening poll, really just to set the stage for what the power plays are all about, right? Today's workshop is 5 power plays to attract, engage, and retain families. So right here, you'll see a poll that just came up. What is your biggest challenge right now? Is it getting the right families to enroll, not just price shoppers? Is it training staff to deliver consistent quality that parents expect? Is it building a wait list that actually converts? Or is it maintaining strong parent engagement without burning out? Okay, so take a couple minutes here, answer the question. Awesome. And for those of you that just joined us, hi, I'm Chanie. We just got started. We haven't gone into any content. I'm really just setting the stage, and we opened up here a quick poll. So Thank you for your patience. We are letting people in slowly. Just so you know, there are 794 people that registered for this workshop. While everyone will not be here live, a lot of people are getting the replay. There were close to 800 school leaders that raised their hand and said, this is important. I need to be here. So thank you for giving us your time. All right. So let's talk about who you are, right? A lot of you posted your directors, your owners, your enrollment specialists, all the things. I want to tell you who you are because this is the thing that people tell me all the time. Like, honey, how do you know that that's what I was thinking? How do you know that, that's what was going on in my center? Do you have video cameras? Here's the thing. I know school leaders like a back of my hand because I spend every single day talking to leaders like you. So I want you to drop into the comments which of these most resonate with you. Okay. And it could be all. Number one, you're an owner with low enrollment numbers who's lying awake at night, wondering if you're going to make payroll, not just for your school, but you're also worried about your own family's financial goals. Number two, you're drowning in parent communication, texts, emails, apps. Every parent wants instant communication. But when you ask for engagement, crickets, crickets. Number three, you're caught in an impossible balance, competing with free pre-K while trying to justify your tuition to price sensitive families who, by the way, they're price sensitive, but they also have ridiculously sky high expectations. So you're constantly like, I can't measure up no matter how much I give. Number four, you're pulled between growth and quality. You want more enrollment because you need it to stay afloat, but you're terrified that growing too quickly is going to compromise your exceptional care that you're known for. So you're constantly feeling like every decision feels like it's going to make or break the school. And lastly, you're dealing with an environment of high expectations and low trust. So, one of the things that I've been talking a lot about is there's a word that's being thrown around now. It's called a trust recession. And so, a lot of people have been talking more in an economic recession. We're really in a trust recession where so much of the world has stopped trusting leadership, other people, due to a lot of things. But in a trust recession, it's very difficult to build connection and relationships with your families. So drop the number in the chat. Which one are you most resonating with right now? Okay. So many here. All right, let's see. Number five, lots of number fives here of dealing with an environment of high expectations, low trust. All the options, Tracy. Thank you. 1 in 5, all of them. Lots of ones, lots of fives. So one, you're an owner with low enrollment. You're trying to make financial goals meet. Awesome. Okay. Um, great. So we know what our problem is, right? Who they are, like who you guys are right now, right? And so we have to look at what does relief look like from this? Sometimes we think we're looking for tactics or strategies, but I know that the tactic and strategy is the tool to give you the relief that you're seeking. And so let's talk about what you actually want and what you're seeking. Because, and the reason why I'm taking time to do this is because I say this all the time. If you don't know the problem that you're trying to solve, you are going to spend thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours on a problem that doesn't need solving. You have to understand the problem that you're actually trying to solve. That is why we're taking the time to work through this. Okay. So let's look at attract, right? These are the 5 power plays to attract, engage, and retain families. Let's look at attract. Okay. So right now, you might have your phone ringing with families saying, what's your price? What's your rate? What are your hours? Blah, 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 right? All of those things. So tours feel like sales pitches where you're scrambling to highlight every feature and you're like, race to the bottom of like, how do I just get kids in the door? And what you want relief from, right? This is what you have to understand and check in with yourself, like pause and say, is that what I need? Is that the relief I'm seeking? Is the relief you're seeking the phone rings and families say, we heard you guys have a 2-year wait list. Can we get our kid on the list? Tours flow naturally. Your rates reflect your worth. Families call and focus on value, not on price tag. Okay, again, just sit with that. How does that land for you? Take a moment and actually think about, what do I need relief from? So I'm not just scrambling around thinking about what is everyone doing in the Facebook groups now? All right, let's talk about engage. So, if you're struggling with engagement, you might be feeling like parents treat drop off like a drive through, like the McDonald's drive through. Events are trying to pull teeth to get parents to participate, and classroom updates disappear into the abyss, right? No one really responds, no one really engages. What does relief look like? Events have a wait list of parent volunteers. Your updates spark conversation about the children's development. Parents linger and talk to the teachers about stories and they connect with the staff. Again, I want you to pause and I want you to step in here. Let's talk about retain. When we think about retaining staff, retaining families, I'm sorry. What's happening now is that a lot of your families shop around every year or even every month. They treat every single month or year as a fresh decision. Word of mouth referrals are rare and unpredictable. And what you want relief from is re enrollment is natural. Families plan their younger children's start dates years in advance, and parents are eager to introduce you to their friends, right? So, we're going to talk about how to unpack these strategies, but come into the comments and I want you to share in your own words. What insights are you having from what I'm sharing? Again, words matter. How we describe our experience matter because that determines the path that we choose for how we want to go about tackling this. Again, for those of you that joined in middle, this is an interactive workshop. Come into the comments, ask your questions, share your insights here. I want to hear from you. Insights that you're having while I'm speaking here. It could be as simple as I never thought of it that way before. This is an interesting perspective. Again, stay engaged in here. Don't be a passive listener, be an active engager. You took an hour of your time, you're never getting this hour back. Use it. Be the leader, use the time. Okay. Let's see some here. We have great quality, great recommendations, but they're few and far between. We need more talk time. Okay. Thank you. Hi, Sandy. Good to hear from you. Okay. Brittany, love what you said about rates reflecting worth, families focusing more on value versus price tags. Yes. I like the word relief. Yes. Right? We need relief from these things. It's hard to reach for excellence and push for up leveling when feeling like basics are so tough. We have great qualified tenured staff. We've always had great word of mouth. We're still struggling with enrollment. Okay. Thank you. Relationship build. Okay. So let's continue here because this goes into my next thing that we're going to continue here with this exercise. So let's talk about what you think is the problem. Okay. Remember, today's workshop is different from anything you've been. I'm going to flip the script on everything. But before we dive into solutions, I want to take a moment and I want you to think about, okay, what do you think needs fixing in your school? That if this thing was fixed, your enrollment would go up, your engagement would go up, your retention would go up. What do you think needs fixing? Let me know in the comments. Some of the comment things that I hear are like, parents just don't pay more. We need better systems. The economy needs to change. It's the free pre-K surge. I need better teachers. Let me know what you think needs fixing. Let me know in the comments. Okay. Jessica wants to get to know her families better. Patty's school communities are experiencing a lot of stress. They're fractured in a way I've never experienced. Yeah, schools are a reflection of the global economy and what, just the country is experiencing. So it's very normal that you're seeing that. Enrollment is good. Overall quality of program seems to be suffering. So your enrollment is good, but the quality of the program, right? First time we've ever had low enrollment in 5 years. Training the teachers well. Suzanne thinks she needs better interaction, exposure, public advertising. Okay, lots and lots of things here. Okay, take a deep breath with me. All of these things are symptoms. They're all symptoms. They are not the true thing that we need to fix. Because in our consumer economy where everyone is looking for the next hack and the next tactic, give me the marketing template, give me the enrollment script, give me the parent handbook. We are not asking the right questions. And here is an important truth that you must remember. The quality of your answers can only be as good as the quality of your questions. If you want good solutions and good answers, you got to start asking better questions. You have to start asking better questions. So, I'm going to ask you questions. They are uncomfortable questions, they're effective ones. So, they will not make you feel comfortable. When you see the question, you're not going to be like, oh, that's such a sweet question. No, you're going to see the question and be like, ooh, I don't know the answer to that question. That's good because that means it's an effective question. Okay, so let's dive into that. What if instead of asking, how do I get more tours? What should I charge? How do I handle difficult parents? You started looking at things from a little different perspective. Why do some families instantly connect with us while others always ask about price right away? What are families really buying when they enroll with our center? Where am I making my systems harder than they need to be? Right? This is questions that when you ask these questions, you cut through noise and you start to get to real solutions. I'm going to walk you through more frameworks here on attract, engage, and retain. So, in the attract phase, the question that most people ask is, how do I get more tours? Here's a different question. Who would miss us if we were gone? Don't ask, how do we get more tours? Who would miss us if we were gone? Next one. Instead of asking, how do I compete with free pre K? Ask, what change am I trying to make in my community? Stop competing with free pre K. What change are you trying to make in your community? So, what's at the root cause of some attraction questions? These are some good ones. What is the story only your school can tell? Who are your true believers, your minimum viable audience? What promise can you make to families that no one else can make? And I'm going to tell you a very revealing experiment I did. I pulled up 20 school websites from across America, from the Northeast to the Midwest to the everywhere, all across America. I pulled up 20 websites. Fancy schools, small schools, new schools, established schools, blah, blah, blah. Here's what I found. They all said the same thing. We have small class sizes. Our teachers are highly qualified. We offer flexible hours. We have a state of the art facility. We have an age appropriate curriculum. We're a safe and nurturing environment. We do learning through play. We have a family like atmosphere. Here's the deal. If everyone's saying the same thing, you're invisible. You're a commodity. And you know what people do with commodities? They shop for price. I'm going to say that again. If you say everything that everyone else is saying, you are a commodity. And what people look at commodities, they shop by price. This is why you have to ask different questions. What promise are you making to families that no one else can make? Not what do we offer? It's what problems do you solve that the school down the street doesn't? Okay, so let me give you some examples of how I've helped clients flip this. Instead of writing flexible hours, write, we're the school for medical families who need reliable care at unconventional hours. This is a school that works near hospitals. And she changed the messaging from flexible hours, because like 7 other schools say the same crap, to we're the school for medical families who need reliable care at unconventional hours. Instead of saying, we have qualified teachers, a school said, your child will have the same caregiver for the first 3 years. That's their model. It might not be your model. Don't say it. I have another client that we work with. They're a military school, and it says it. We're the school that helps military kids thrive during transitions. We get it because we live it. Now, if I'm a military family, am I going to send my kid to the place that says flexible hours? Or am I going to send my kid to the place that says, we're the school that helps military kids thrive during transitions? Let me know in the comments. It's not even a competition. It doesn't matter what the military school charges. I need my kid there. It doesn't matter. You're not shopping for price. When you make promises no one else makes, you stop competing on price. You stop losing sleep over free pre-K and the economy and whatever. The question is not what do we do well? The question is what do we do differently? There's a lot of people that do things well. Why are you different? Why are you different? All right, let's go to engage. So, when people are talking about the engagement phase, how do I engage with families? The question they're typically asking is, what programs do we offer? Here's a different question. What transformation do we deliver? I have a friend who lives a couple blocks from me. His youngest just went to high school, and he sent her cross country to Arizona to this boarding school out of town. And he's like, I went online. The principal had an open house for the families, a curriculum night, and he's like, and this is his youngest, and his oldest is 24. So he's kind of been around, been around the block a few times. And he's like, this is the first school that the principal got up and said, we have a product. It's called high school. And at the end of high school, at the end, when your daughter graduates there, at the end of 4 years, this is the transformation we are hoping your daughter looks like. This is our product. And I was like, wow, like that is a school that knows who they serve, what type of girl they want in their school. They know exactly the product that they're delivering. Okay. When it comes to engagement, a huge issue is parent complaints, right? So people ask questions like, how do we handle parent complaints? Here's a different question. How do we create experiences worth talking about? How do we create experiences worth talking about? All right, I'm going to take a quick pause. Come into the comments. Just give me a yes or anything of like, this is great. I never thought of it this way. Like, just how are you tracking with what I'm saying here? Again, it's okay if your mind's exploding because no one teaches it like this. You will not find this anywhere else because no one else teaches like this. Because everywhere else, you're going to get generic advice and tactics. That's not what you spend an hour of your time doing. That's free, available on Google while you're half asleep. When you're taking a workshop, come to get real stuff. Haven't asked these questions before. Great reframing questions. Love the mindset shift. Awesome. I can already see these as transformative. Everything's eye-opening. Love it. Love it. We're the school that. Yes. Yes, Chelsea. Yes. Okay, let's continue. Okay. So I did another experiment. I asked 30 school leaders to show me their parent communication from the last month. Okay, here's what I found. Almost every message said the following. Please bring in, don't forget to, reminder about, sign and return, important notice, policy update. Give me a thumbs up in the comment if a lot of your communication looks like that. It's okay if it does. This is not a shaming. This is a reckoning conversation, right? When people get messages like that, you're treating parents like task managers, not partners. When someone's a task manager, they see us as a service that they're buying, not a community that they're part of. I'm going to say it again. When you treat parents like task managers, they see you as a service that they're buying, not a community that they are part of. Boom. So, what are the questions we need to ask? Are you marketing to everyone? Or are you creating a movement for someone? What would your school look like if you only served your ideal families? I had a director I was working with one on one, and she said, for years, I thought parents weren't engaged because they were too busy, right? Life is busy. It's a great symptom, but I don't buy that. It turns out, she said, we weren't giving them anything meaningful to engage with. So they weren't too busy. It's just we weren't giving them anything meaningful to actually be worthy of their time to engage with. Oh, hey, Deb. Oh, it's so good to see you. A game changer in communication and word choice. Yes. Yes. I can honestly say that is a superpower of mine. There's a lot of things I cannot do. When it comes to questions and word choice, that is definitely a superpower. Okay, good to see you, Deb. All right, let's go to retain. Instead of saying, how do we keep families from leaving, say, how do we become indispensable? Instead of saying, what systems do we need? Say, what story do our actions tell? I did another experiment. I asked a bunch of directors to show me their exit interviews from families who left. They do exit interviews. We have an exit interview template in our program. And the pattern was we found something cheaper. We're moving closer to home. Grandma's available now. We got into the free pre-K program. Here's the truth bomb, my friends. Those are all excuses. They are not reasons. They are not reasons. Okay. We had a school that they stopped doing enrollment contracts and they start doing partnership agreements. And in the partnership agreement, it says what families can expect from the school, what the school needs from the families, how they're going to work together for the child, right? These are flipping the script. This is the best use of your time. Stop outsourcing marketing to unbelievably expecting marketing agencies who cannot do this for you. There is no marketing agency in the world who could do this information. You are the boots on the ground. So here are questions for you. What would you do differently if you knew your families would stay for 5 years? Right? Are you building a customer base or are you building a community that no one wants to leave? That no one wants to leave. Okay. So let's dive into the 5 power plays that will increase enrollment by 25% in the next 100 days. They will transform your parent demands into true partnerships, and then you'll be able to achieve a 90% retention rate. This is my promise to you. So, what is the power plays? What are they? I'm going to tell you high level, and then we're going to go into each one. Power play number 1, know your families. Power play number 2, speak their language. Be where they are. Power play 4, train the troops. And power play 5, sync your calendar. So let's go into power play 1, know your families. Now, here's the thing. I know all you think you know your families. You talk to them every day, you see them at drop off, you answer their tests, you handle their concern, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. Why do some families rave about your program while others can only talk to you about price? Why do some families drive past 3 other schools to get to you while other families leave because it's $50 cheaper over there? Why do some parents eagerly join every event while others never show up? So here's the thing. We confuse talking to families with truly understanding them. Just because you're talking to someone doesn't mean you are listening to them or know them. Because here's the thing, and just give me a big yes in the comments. Right now, you're probably making decisions based on what the loudest parent wants, what you think your families should want, what worked with families last year, and what other schools are doing. Just give me a yes in the comments if you're probably making decisions from those filters right now. Okay. Again, this is not a shaming game. This is an honesty, truth, reckoning game. Okay. This is the beauty. You need better filters. We need better questions. So we're making better decisions. Okay. So when you solve the right problem for the right family, location and price and everything else becomes irrelevant. So we had a school leader that we were working with, and she was convinced that her location could not support higher tuition rates. So we dug deeper, and she discovered that she was asking all the wrong questions. So she used our parent engagement survey. This is something that we have inside of our Schools of Excellence program. And when she did the survey and got the data back, she discovered something shocking. And the programs that she was doing in her school that were eating up her budget, 80% of her families didn't even value them. There were other things that they were like, this is what we want, things that she never even thought of, things that her families would happily pay more for. She made that switch. Another thing that we do is we have a family insights matrix inside of our school program. And this is where you uncover what families actually value, not what you think they value, what they actually value. We help you make decisions based on data, not assumptions. And we do that through the enrollment form template. So we have in our template, we have questions, we have insights. One question that one of our owners did in the enrollment form template, she found out that 70% of her families couldn't attend evening events due to their work schedule. So she changed it. And then boom, parent engagement soared. Again, make questions from the data. Make questions from the data. This is not about changing who you are. It's about understanding who you're really serving. So your unsolvable problems become your biggest opportunities. That's what it means to know your families. You have to get the data. And there's multiple ways to get the data through family engagement surveys, through enrollment form templates. We have scripts of how to meet with families one-on-one. All of these things are ways that you can actually get the data so you're making data-informed decisions. Again, as I'm going through the power plays, drop your questions here. Any questions that you have, drop them inside of here. Okay, I'm going to continue because I want to make sure I get through all the power plays. So that's power play 1. You need to know the families. Power play 2, speak their language. So a lot of you think that you're communicating with the families, right? You have your parent handbook, you have your newsletters, you have your social media, you have your daily updates, you've got your kangaroo time, you've got all your apps. Great. So why do some parents never read your carefully crafted newsletter? Why do some families seem to misunderstand every time you talk? Why are you repeating the same things over and over and over again? Right? Communication is not about better marketing or more posts or fancier newsletters. Every family in your school speaks a different language. And I'm not just talking about English, Spanish, Hebrew, French. That's not what I'm talking about. The language of their life reality. I'm going to say that again. Every family in your school speaks a different language. It's the language of their life's reality. So I'm going to show you what I mean. This is part of our parent avatar framework. In every school, you have distinct parent types. And each of those types of parents need to be spoken to in a different way. Every school will have about 3 to 5 parent archetypes, parent avatars. So I'm going to share 3 from schools that we've worked with. So one parent archetype is the career-focused parent. I'm actually going to share the top 3, and then I'll go into each one. You have another one that's the first-time parent, and then another one, I had this in one of the schools that I ran, is the grandparent guardian, where the parent's kind of MIA and the grandparent's raising the child. So when someone is a first-time parent or a career-focused parent or a grandparent guardian or the single mom, you cannot talk to the single mom the same way you talk to a dual income household family. You're done. You're done for if you're trying to do that. They are completely different humans. Completely. So the career-focused parent makes decisions at 10 p.m. after bedtime. They scan emails for bullet points. They need guilt-free reassurance about time away from their kids. Right? Versus a first-time parent, they screenshot every photo you send. They read every word in the newsletter. Every time they drop off, they need like, you're doing such a good job. Molly's having such a good time. You're great. They need reassurance, right? They want all the information about child development, right? My 4th kid, when they would send updates on potty training, I'm like, could you stop sending me information on potty training? This is my 4th. I know how to toilet train kids. Like, stop. Right? But the new mom, when I was, raising my 14-year-old son, and when he was 18 months, I was like, give it to me. Like, I need to know how to toilet train this kid. Okay? The guardian parent, right? The grandparent guardian, they want a phone call. Don't try to give app notification to 7-year-old grandpa. Stop it. Call him. They need help with the parent portal. They want traditional communication methods, right? Learn how to communicate with people. So let's talk about one of our clients who was frustrated about pouring money into her beautiful marketing campaign and her website, sending detailed newsletters, but nothing was sticking. Okay. So she used our parent avatar framework. And when she realized that a big percentage, was over 60% of her families were career focused, the career focused families. So she started to switch her communication channel. So she wasn't in 7 different places, but she was actually focused where her families actually were. And so, following this framework, she's mapping her core parent types. She's understanding their specific pain points. She's creating messaging that resonates, and she's designing programs that solve real problems. Real problems. You do not need better marketing. You need the marketing that targets the pain points. Katie, how often do you gather data? So here's the thing that you want to be mindful of. You don't want to obsess over collecting data points at every single point of the journey. You want data collection to be part of your process. And then you have specific times of year that you review the data, right? So, for example, Coca-Cola isn't like, okay, we're collecting data this month, and they're always collecting data. Apple is always collecting data. So you want data collection to be part of your rhythm, right? That's why you have an enrollment form template. That's why you're consistently doing family conversations or those things. Now, you need a place to store the data, and then you have times during the year, maybe 2-3 times a year. In this economy, definitely at least 3 times a year that you're reviewing the data, and you're like, do we need to tweak things? Do we need to change our messaging? Has our parent demographic shifted? We just worked with a client who she used to work in this really, really suburban area. Before she knew it and turned around, her entire place was a city. She had tall skyscrapers going on over there. I'm like, you can't talk to suburban families. You don't have suburban families anymore. You got city chicks. You got to change all your messaging, my dear friend. Okay? All right, let's continue. Okay, let's go to power play number 3. Be where they are. Okay. So, what does it mean to be where your families are? Okay? It's not about having a Facebook page or a website or Instagram or post it, like those are all important. But here's the thing that you have to understand. Okay? Even when you think you're being where they are, here are the questions. Some schools are drowning in inquiries while others are struggling to get tours. Some schools are growing entirely through word of mouth while other people can't get a single referral. So be where they are is not about being everywhere. It's about being exactly where your families gather, connect, and make decisions. I'm going to say that again. It's about being exactly where your families actually gather, connect, and make decisions. So here's an example. We had a client, Karen. Her school was weeks away from closing. She was convinced there were not enough families in her area who wanted what she offered, right? A classic case of like, I'm in the wrong location, I'm in the wrong market, blah, blah, blah. I said, nope, we're going to do the family avatar mapping together. Okay. Her career focused parents are not on Facebook during work hours, they are in specific LinkedIn groups. Her first time parents were not reading emails. Guess where first time parents are? In local mommy groups, Facebook groups, after 9 p.m. Her multicultural families, they don't hang out on social media. Do you know where they are? They are deeply connected in community organizations, in churches, in synagogues, in these community centers. Oh, interesting. Where would I go now? Right? When I worked in New York City, and I ran a school there, every apartment building could basically fund a whole school. That's how many people live in the building, right? I would go into the buildings. They run different workshops and different events. I'm like, can I run a workshop here once a month on parenting? And I'd run the workshop. Sometimes 5 people would come, sometimes 2 people, sometimes one person. I don't care. Now you saw me. You liked the workshop. I shared good advice. Come for a tour. We're 3 blocks away, right? No Facebook advertising could have brought me that quality of leads. I went to where people are. Okay, come into the comments. I want to hear insights. Insights from the first 3 power plays so far. Know your families, speak their language, be where they are. What are you learning so far? Intrigued about the parent avatar framework. Awesome. I'm going to talk about that soon. What are examples of pain points? Great. This is where you go get the data, right? You have to know what your parents are seeking. So you're going to ask questions that are centered around pain points. Those are all in the enrollment form, right? And when you ask those questions, then you actually understand what are parents buying from you. You know where they are from your parent avatar. So when you run through the parent avatar framework, you're going to start to have a better idea of like, okay, I've got career focused parents, I've got first time families. Let me bring a little group of first time families and ask them, where do you hang out? Right? Are you in the yoga studio? Oh, I used to do that also all the time. I used to send my directors to go hang out in all the yoga clubs. Go hang out in all the yoga clubs. Mommy with yoga pants, they are like the best buyers. Go hang out over there. Right? Free marketing for me. Like, you got to know where your people are. Right? Never thought about LinkedIn. Yes, beautiful. Marty, I'm learning that we don't know enough about our parents. Beautiful, right? What a powerful moment for you to recognize, huh, I got work to do. I got work to do. Jessica, great question, right? What if they refuse to answer? You will not have every single family refuse to answer. And if you do, we want to look at the question, right? What is the question that you're asking? How are you approaching them, right? So let's not get caught up on like symptoms or like excuses. Let's go to like, how do we solve this problem? Okay, another thing in Be Where They Are. So I was telling you about Karen, right? She enrolled 12 new families in 3 weeks. She did not do that through a website. She did not spend any money. She did one of our strategies, which is called Parent Ambassador Working Sessions. And our parent ambassador working sessions is actually understanding how to create a group of parent ambassadors who bring families to you. So I'll share an interesting story. I shared it this morning with a client that I was working with. When I worked in New York City, we had one of the parents in our school. She had 13 children. And usually people that have a lot of kids are usually friends with people that have a lot of kids. And so one parent would bring like 6 enrollments for me just from her own family, right? So I connected with her and I was like, hey, would love for you to introduce me to other families. And she's like, sure. And I said, you know, what would you like as a thank you for enrolling families? Do you want like a discount on tuition or whatever? She's like, no, I don't need that kind of stuff. And I was like, I want to get you something. She's like, I don't need anything, Connie. I was like, I know what I'm going to get you. I'm going to plan a date night for you and your husband. I booked a babysitter. I booked a restaurant. I made the reservation and I sent them on a date night. Okay. That thing costed me $150. She sent me 4 families. New York City tuition in 2011 was $40,000 per child. And I spent $150 to make 120 grand for 1 year. Those kids stayed for 4 years. I made $500,000 by investing $150. Let me tell you something math wise. You guys would invest $150 every day if it brings you back $500,000. Get creative, get out of your bubble, right? Ask better questions. Make sure you're doing the right frameworks and the right strategies, right? Like understand what a strategy is versus a tactic. Okay. Next power play, train the troops. So when I think about training the troops, right, training the staff and how they connect to enrolling, engaging, and retaining, a lot of times we look at the staff and we're like, the staff challenges are about work ethic. I need to find better teachers. You're convinced that if you just had the right staff, everything would be better. But it's not true, right? We already know it's not true, right? So we have to understand, where do we need to train our staff so that, you know, some classrooms have waiting lists while other classrooms have constant turnover. If you have multiple locations, you have some centers that are doing amazing while other centers are like need oxygen, right? Why do some small miscommunications blow up into huge issues, but the same miscommunication in a different classroom is like, oh, that's okay. What? Why does that happen? Right? How do we train the troops? So many years ago, again, when I worked in New York City, I had 8 classrooms. 6 of the 8 classrooms that 1 year that I was teaching had same-sex couples, families. And I was like, okay, I've got great teachers, but none of these teachers are equipped for how to have conversations, how to lead parent events. Simple things like Mother's Day projects or daily communication can become a minefield. I need to train my staff how to have these conversations and not assume that, like, oh, of course, everyone knows how to be polite. Okay, this is not about being polite. This is about training your staff actually how to have conversations. Because here's the thing that the data shows. When a parent has a bad interaction with a teacher, they tell 3 other people. When they have a good interaction, they tell 8 other people. When a parent drops off and they had a good interaction with you, they're going to go tell 8 of their other friends. My gosh, I dropped off Sarah this morning and you know what happened? Blah, 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 blah. They're going to tell 8 other people. You want parent referrals? You want word of mouth? Train your staff how to communicate with families, how to greet families at the door, how to work during parent tours, how to acknowledge parents who walk into the building, right? That's what Train the Troops program is inside of our Schools of Excellence program. It's not about hiring different people. It's about giving your current team the tools to be better. When you train your staff, your reputation in the community will soar. Because what starts to happen is every interaction with teachers, from morning drop off to afternoon updates to everything, become about strengthening relationships, not straining relationships. We want to teach our staff how to strengthen relationships, not strain relationships. Okay, come into the comments. What are you learning about Train the Troops? What are your questions? You wish more people thought this way. Wishing is a great thing to do on a birthday in front of a thing of candles. What we want to do is, this is amazing. I'm going to train my staff how to do this and think this way, right? Like I just had a conversation with a client this morning, and she's like, I walk into the classroom and I see a mom. She's holding her baby. She's got a bunch of bags, and all the teachers are like, oh, okay. And I was like, come, let me help you. Like, let me take the bag for you. Let me this. And she's like, how come none of them knew that should do that? And I'm like, not everyone sees a mom with a car seat and a toddler and some bags and is like, oh, I should go help that person. Not everyone is raised that way. But here's the thing, you can train people to notice that when a mama walks into the building and is holding a car seat and has a big pregnant belly and also has a diaper bag, go help her. Even if it's not your job, go help her. Okay. Would like more training on how to teach the teachers? Yeah, this is conversation scripts, right? These are all things that we have inside of our program. Conversation scripts, tools, all of these things, right? Awesome. Are there resources for training teachers how to speak to parents empathetically and keeping overwhelm inside? Yes, absolutely. Right. There are specific scripts of like, here's what to say on the phone so that the conversation doesn't go past 5 minutes. Here's what to say in person. Here's how to hold your shoulders. Here's how to hold your chin, your body language. Don't cross your legs. Don't stand like this. Teach it to them. I used to do body language training when I was a director with my staff. I used to literally train them. What is the proximity of how to stand next to a dad? It's not the same proximity of how to stand next to a mom. I know now everything is like accepted, but it's really not. You really should be mindful of how close you're standing next to the dad versus the mom. Most people are still a little bit conscious of that, right? So how do I train them? Well, it's great. Let me teach you. Here's how to do it. Here's how to stand. If someone's 6 feet tall versus 5 feet tall, right? Now, some of you are like, that's ridiculous. I have to train every single thing. No, not every single thing, but that's what one-on-ones are for, where you could do role playing with a teacher. No, assume everyone knows nothing. Assume everyone knows nothing and train. Okay, power play number 5. Yes, again, Angie, like you could like I share with my staff how they communicate effectively. Yes, and we also have to show them like here's how to communicate. Here is the exact words to say. When a parent walks in middle of the tour, here's how to acknowledge them. Here's how to make eye contact and then go back to what you're doing with the kids. Right? Okay. Okay, power play number 5, the final one is sync the calendar. Okay, now I know a lot of you are like, this is amazing, but I need more time and I need more staff and I need more resources to get this done. Just give me a check in the comments if you're like, yes, please, I would like more time and more staff and more money and more resources to get this done. Yes. Okay, so here's some thoughtful questions to think about. Some weeks feel incredibly productive, but others slip away. Some great ideas from team meetings become a reality and some don't. Why does I'll get to it next week become next month and next year? Okay. And so here's the thing, and I say this all the time, and I think I might get like a big sign on my forehead. Every problem in your school is a calendar problem. Every problem in your school is a calendar problem. It's not about more time, it's not about more money, it's a calendar problem. Let me tell you why. We have a client, I just spoke with her 30 hours ago. Her name is Amy. She joined our program. She was behind on everything. In the last 2 weeks of October, she enrolled 9 students. Not because she worked harder. She did not get any more time, any more money, any more resources, nothing. Here is what she did. She blocked 30 minutes every Tuesday to follow up with tour families. She blocked 2 hours to contact families expecting new babies. And she scheduled daily 15-minute social media posts when her families were online. That's it. Those 3 things, and she enrolled 9 families. You know why? Because it's in her calendar. If it's not in your calendar, it's not in your business. Write it down, have it tattooed on your desk. If it's not in your calendar, it's not in your business. It's just not going to happen. I'm not saying it's to-do list. I said calendar. If it's not in your calendar, it's not in your business. So, how do we sync the calendar? This is what the calendar mastery system is that I teach inside of a program, right? It takes, I should do that, to, I just did that, right? Imagine what that feels. I should do that. Oh, I just did that. We have weekly power blocks. So things like, here's an example schedule. Monday are tour follow-ups. Tuesday, connect with 5 current families. Wednesday, social media engagement. Thursday, lead nurturing. Friday, team alignment. Okay, so instead of random acts of marketing, you have growth rhythms. Instead of reactive communication, you have proactive connections with families. Instead of hoping that someone does word of mouth, you have an entire referral program blocked in your calendar. You do not need to work more hours. You need to know how to sync your calendar to the activities that drive growth. I'm going to say it again. You need to know how to sync your calendar to the activities that drive growth. Amy had 9 enrollments in 2 weeks. Karen had 12 kids in 3 weeks. Again, if it's not on your calendar, it's not on your business. Okay. Take a moment, take a breath, take some water if you need to. I need some water. And post in the comments any questions or what's your next action step. Cindy, I want more resources to get this done. Which power play, my dear? Which power play are you looking at? You're like, I want to get this one done. Is it know your families? Is it speak their language? Is it be where they are? Is it train the troops? Is it sync the calendar? Where are you looking? Syncing the calendar. Okay, great. Thank you. Tammy, finding training for staff on how to connect with families. Okay, so train the troops. Patty is looking for resources on syncing the calendar. Yep. Passive calendar planning isn't planning, it's reacting to the urgent day, define boundaries. Yes. It's more so than defining the boundaries. It's what are the actual things I need to do to drive enrollment? Do I need to contact 20 leads every single day? Do I follow up with tours 24 hours after they close? Do I connect with it? Right? It's the actual targets. Do you have podcast, workshop, calendar syncing for digging deeper into that concept? Yes, I do, Chelsea. We will follow up with you on that. Syncing the calendar is my greatest challenge. Where do we find material to train the troops instead of me just taking over and over again? Yes. So training the troops is something that you need to do. You need to train the staff because it needs to be your school like philosophy, but we give you guys scripts and templates of how to actually train the troops. So let me dive in over here. I'm going to share with you a little bit about the program, and then I'm going to open up the floor for some Q&A. So our school leadership HQ program, here is what you get when you come inside. This is one component of it. This is the component I'm sharing today. The 5 power plays that increase enrollment by 25% in the next 100 days. Think of what the next 100 days are. This is like right after Christmas, you're looking at these 25% increase enrollment. You transform parent demands into partnerships, and you start to play a 90% retention game. So what is included when you join? Okay, power play implementation system. This is where you get the family avatar framework, the templates, the parent communication scripts, the enrollment scripts, the enrollment form, the teen training guides. All of these things are included. Enrollment engine, you get lead response templates, follow-up systems, the parent ambassador program. You get parent interaction scripts. And everyone was talking about sync the calendar. You get the calendar mastery, weekly power blocks, implementation templates, time blocking frameworks, satisfaction surveys, feedback loop protocols. All of these things are included in our curriculum of our program. Now, how do we help with implementation? There's monthly group coaching calls and working sessions with me. There's a Facebook group community to connect with other leaders, and you get a dedicated success coach to support your growth journey and accountability. There's a lot of other things. This is just the core of it. Okay, so here's the thing. We're going to drop into the comments a link. If you are serious about getting these tools and this support and training and mentoring, we opened up our calendar for 20 spots where you can have an enrollment conversation with myself or someone from the team. It's going to be a 15-minute call. It's a complimentary call. We're going to help you map out your 5 power play action plan. And we're going to see if you're a good fit for the program. So you can go ahead and click that link. We have a couple of spots, I think 5 available tomorrow for the quick action takers. And then we have a couple next week. Okay. Now, some of you are like, this is amazing, but I'm not really sure that I'm ready to like jump on a call. That's fine. On Monday, I'm doing a power play implementation workshop. It's at 12 o'clock Eastern. So if you're like, this is amazing, Chanie, I need some more questions to get answered. I want to workshop some things. I want to co-create some solutions with you. Great. Come to that call with me. But if you are a serious inquiry and you're like, I need to get in, I want to join, we have 20 spots left that we're opening up till the end of the year, till 2024, then great, go ahead and book that call. So here's what I want to pause here and ask you, and then I'm going to get a couple of questions answered. I'm going to do a quick poll right here. I want you to be real about where you're at right now. Okay. Number 1, I'm done struggling, ready to implement a complete system right now. We're going to get that poll up. I see the value, but I need to understand the specifics first. I need to discuss with my team before I make decisions. I'm exploring some solutions, not ready to commit yet. I came here to learn. I might need this in the future. Okay, let me know in the comments. Be honest. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go over here and I'm going to answer some questions. So feel free to post into the comments, but I'm also going to be answering some questions that people had sent in advance when we had asked you, like, what's your biggest thing if you saw the emails. So I'm going to be answering a couple of those questions. But first, let me dive into I think I answered all the questions that came in here. But I'll start to answer some questions. Okay, so one question that someone asked is, what if different families want conflicting things? So just give me a yes in the comments if you're like, oh, that's a good question. I actually would love to know the answer to that. So different families can want conflicting things. And that's why you want to look at your data of what is the percentage, right? So if your career-focused families are like, we really need this, and then a different demographic is like, we really need this, and it conflicts, where's the majority? Where's the majority? Now, that doesn't mean you can't serve that family at all, but maybe they get something else that they really need, right? Again, this is going to happen, but you can't know how to serve families unless you're actually asking the data, right? Okay. Let me go back here. I just want to make sure that I am, yes. Okay. So the other questions that came in advance. And again, feel free to pop into the comments other questions that are coming up for you. All right. Another question that someone has, which platforms matter most for my community? How do I know? So one of the things that we teach inside of the program, weekly power blocks, it's you allocate specific times for your top channels. So it's not, how do I know that you allocate times, you play on the channels, and then you look at the data? Wow, when we post in LinkedIn, we get all of this response. But when I post on Instagram, crickets. Okay, maybe we should dive deeper over there and see if that pool is a good pool to swim in. Okay. Another question I get all the time, how do I train without overwhelming my staff? How do I train without overwhelming my staff? This is the one-on-one framework, right? We're in the one-on-ones, you're focusing on one skill, role playing with them, Here is how to do this, right? You're not doing necessarily role playing all the time in front of all the staff. Sometimes the teacher will be like, well, that's really embarrassing that I don't know how to do that. All right, do it one on one, right? All good questions. Okay, other questions. Feel free to unmute if you're like, I can't write the question. I want to ask the question. All right, I'm going to bring up a couple more questions here. I want to give time for the people that are here live, but I'm also answering questions that came in advance. Okay, so another question that someone asked is, what activities deserve priority? How do I know what to focus on? How do I know which one to do first? Right? So when you join the program, the first thing that we do is we have a 5 gears diagnostic. We have a specific diagnostic that helps you identify your highest impact activities of like, this is where you need to focus. Right? This is one of the biggest challenges in childcare and leadership in general, which is like, where do I spend my time? Right? Where do I spend my time? Okay, Cindy, as a school, how do you get in front of LinkedIn in community? Okay, so great question, but I want you to flip the question. So, based on this last hour together, I want you to think about for a second, what would be a better question for me to ask based on the solution that I'm going after, right? So, you're asking this question because you're seeking some sort of solution. What's the solution that you're seeking, Cindy? Like, what are you trying to do by figuring out a LinkedIn community? What's your end game?
I'm trying to reach that those group of families that would mesh well with our school community and our program that we offer.
Great. So first we have to understand what is your current demographic, right? So we have to go back to the know your families and get the data. Who are your families? Are they a group of families? Like you're making an assumption that they would be on LinkedIn. Maybe they're not. Let's look at the data, right? So this is the power of asking good questions. This is the power of pausing before you go take precious time, which none of you have extras of, and go figure out a LinkedIn strategy. Actually think about, where do my people play? We just spent 2 days with my marketing team and my membership team mapping out 2025. And we decided we're doing two things. We are playing on our podcast strategy and guest podcasting. That's it. I'm doing 2 channels. And I'm going to milk those channels and find where all the people that we want to serve are. And then maybe we'll go play other places. But I am not taxing the team and playing in a million different places. Great question, Cindy. Okay, other questions. Again, I'm here till the last person leaves, until the last person asks a question. So ask your questions. I am here for you. Let's get you guys taking action. Come into the comments. What's your next action step? What are you guys going to do next? Raul, how do I effectively evaluate myself without being biased between parents and staff? Okay, I'm not sure I understand your question. Can you unmute or just clarify the question? Okay. Questions about implementation. This is one of the things when I was a director, I used to tell my teachers this all the time. Whenever I did a training and no one would ask questions, I would tell them, if you didn't ask questions, you weren't listening. Because here's why. If you were listening, then it's impossible for you not to have a question because I just taught you brand new information. So either you have a question about, how do I implement this? I'm not sure I understood this. Can you give me a better example? And I would literally set that culture in my center as a director that every single person should be having questions, because if you listened, you have questions. Okay. Kim is going to reflect on some of the questions I asked. Beautiful. Okay. Chelsea, do you just suggest some type of training folder where you log all the trainings you've taught staff for future reference? Okay, great question, Chelsea. But again, I'm going to flip the question. Why are you asking me this question? What is the result that you're trying to create? Feel free to unmute or just post in the comments. Notice how, again, this is so normal. We go straight to tactics before we actually understand, what are you actually trying to do? Okay, go ahead, Chelsea.
Sorry, I guess I'm trying to think of all the things. It's very hard for me myself to remember all of the things that we have trained or haven't trained. New staff is coming in as the staff is rolling over. Maybe some type of like reference manual where something that they can look back on without needing to contact me directly. I'm just wondering if you have some kind of like framework like that.
Sure. So the first thing I always recommend is, like, when you're enrolling a lot of new staff, or when you have like new staff or whatever it is, the first question you want to ask is, what is the most important training that I need my staff to know based on the biggest issues in my school now? So if the biggest issue in my school now is enrollment, then I must train all my staff how to talk to families so that they don't turn away enrollment, right? I have to teach them how to do this so they don't screw up my reputation. So instead of asking, like, where do I put all the stuff? It's what is the biggest need right now? Let me create that one training and start a folder. Here's the training. If you're brand new and you're in this first 60-day cycle, our school needs enrollment. And so here is what everyone needs to know how to do better. Here's the communication script. Here's the call template. Here's how to talk to families. Here's how to greet people, whatever you want inside of there. Does that answer your question, Chelsea? You can just give me a thumbs up or unmute.
Yes, it
Okay.
does. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. Notice how you ask the question, but I flip it, right? Because the last thing I want any school leader to do is go and spend time on something that is not going to give you a result. Nobody has extra time. Okay, Cindy, I'm going to look at the stats from some of our social media platforms, get a better feel of where our families live and exist. Beautiful, right? Now, here's the thing, because we live in such an online world, we think that everyone lives online, and a lot of people do. Please go out and touch grass. Go to the yoga station, go to the community club, go to the church, go to the local place, go to the places where people actually used to hang out before the internet. There's a lot of people that still like to hang out there, and they're good quality families. Okay, more questions. Chelsea, I really need to sync my calendar. I keep saying I will, but it's time. Tell me what you mean by that. Like, what is the one thing that you're like, if I just did this, I could start to see some results in my calendar?
Hi, I'm so sorry. Me again.
Don't apologize. You're the person that's taking advantage. Everyone else should be like buzzing up over here, but you're doing a great job. Go for it.
I feel like I've just heard so many times about how beneficial it can be to create power blocks, or someone calls them engagement hours, or time blocking, or
Yep.
do not
Yep.
disturb hours in your office. And it just
Yep.
sounds like such a good theory. And then I just never put it into practice.
Yeah. So I want you to go ahead to the calendar for Friday and book a call so you and I could talk tomorrow morning, and I will walk you through the simple things that you could do right away. You're going to share your screen. I'm going to show you the calendar. I'm going to give you those quick implementation stuff. Go ahead and get that called. I think there's like 4 spots for tomorrow. I'm doing tomorrow's calls. So go ahead and check that out. Rivka, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Thank you.
Hi, good to see you. I haven't seen you since like the 2019 live event. It's so good to see you. Go ahead. Oh, I can't hear you all of a sudden.
Oh.
There we go. Now I can hear you. Okay, go ahead.
I'm trying to find the
I can't hear.
balance.
We can't hear you, my dear. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Sorry about the camera. I'm
That's
trying
okay.
the balance between figuring out what my families want and maybe educating families to want something better. I feel like I have a little bit of a mission, so no.
Yeah, no. So start with figuring out what your parents want. That comes from the parent engagement survey. So you want to get out that engagement survey. That's going to give you the data. And then you can start to look at how disconnected and far removed are what my parents want from what I would like to make as a mission in this school. What is the disconnect? How far is the disconnect? And then you could start to educate your audience. So I'm not saying you don't educate the audience on what's more valuable. Look at what I'm doing right now, right? I am educating the audience on here are other ways to look at things. So it's not that you can't do it, but you got to start with what they need, right? So get that parent engagement survey out. Okay. Anyone else? Questions? Again, I'm here. Ask your questions. This is like an opportune time for you ladies. I'm going to say it for 5 more minutes. A lot of quiet consumers processing. What questions should you be asking? I'm not sure what stakeholders are. Katie, unmute yourself. Tell me what your questions are. Tell me what's going through your mind. Is Katie still on? Okay, we'll wait for Katie to unmute. Jessica, You don't have a microphone. Okay, so tell me, are you asking, you're not sure what questions to ask and you're looking for like, what should I be asking? Maybe that's what you're trying to figure out. Okay, Jessica. Yes. Okay. So when you come to a workshop and you heard all of these strategies, right? And all of these ideas, your brain is going to probably, how do I implement this all? How do I figure this all out, right? And so the first step that we want to do is we want to get clarity over what is my first next step. Does that make sense for you, Katie? Like, what is my first next step? Great. So your first next step is let's get on a call, choose Friday or next week, Monday, and we'll give you clarity on what is the power play you can work on first and how to take, like, where to go from there. Okay, Jessica, is there a sample engagement survey that can be found somewhere? You could probably Google some engagement surveys. We have our signature Schools of Excellence engagement survey that we know works really well, and we have that inside of the program. Tracy, a comment, not a question. I'm old school with my calendar, 5 post-its on my laptop each morning, 5-minute calls. My questions are going to be different from now. Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. You're so welcome, Tracy. And here's the thing, Tracy, I want to tell you something. We have a client who works with us, and she's in her 60s. She's got beautiful grandchildren, and she was like hyper committed to the paper and pen and all of that, very resistant to tech. And let me tell you, once she started to use our calendar system, she's like, I'm never going back. I've got to use the online calendar. This is how I'm going to sync with all my directors and my assistant directors. This is how we're going to make sure that everyone's on the same page. So I have so much empathy for where you are, and I get it. And I love that in 60 minutes, you flipped your mindset around and you're like, I'm doing this. So kudos to you, Tracy. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, Kim. If I have been if I've been in communication with family via emails or phone calls, how long do I wait to check in again? Okay, tell me what you mean by that, Kim. Is that in the enrollment cycle? Is that it? Like, tell me, just give me some more context and feel free to unmute.
So really it's about communication over development or communication with them feeling like they're not getting enough communication from the teachers.
So a parent reached out to you and said, I don't feel like I'm getting enough communication from teachers. Is that what they said?
Yeah, that's one of the ones, but
Okay. But
so I've noticed the communication on our app has gone up.
okay.
So then how long do I wait in order to check back in, or do I just leave it?
What do you mean by the communication has gone up? I'm not sure I understand what you're asking.
So really this parent was looking for more photos of their child throughout the day.
Okay.
So I can see on the app that they are getting that and they are responding to those.
So what's your question now? What do you want? What do you
So
want?
how long should I wait to check back in, or should I not check back in and see if they?
Oh, I would close the loop right away. I would follow up and say, hey, Miss Jennifer, I know you had mentioned that
Okay.
you want to see more photos. I've been checking the app and I noticed there's a lot more photos of your little Sarah. How's that like? Would love to know what was one of your favorite ones.
Okay.
Just go tell her. I know my teachers are doing a good job.
Okay.
Right? So
Thank
she's
you.
really busy. She's not going to
Mhm.
remember to come back and say thank you. You close the loop because that's a retention point. You close the loop and say, you brought me a problem, I solved the problem. You brought me a problem, I solved the problem. Always close the loop. Great question,
Okay.
Kim. Always close the loop. Okay. How do I balance between parents' needs and expectations and the staff ability to deliver without causing conflicts of interest? Okay. I got to talk to you. Very wordy question. Unmute yourself. Let me hear what's actually going on. What are you trying to solve here? Okay, from Rosie. It makes sense when you say it's not about the location or the price. It's about what I do differently. How do I get to the right families? Well, first you have to know what the definition of the right family is, right? If you remember, one of my questions is what problems do you want to solve? Who is the audience that you want to go serve? Right? You know how many times a week I get asked, why don't you work with public schools? I can't even count. I don't want to work with public school leaders. I work with private schools, only private schools across the entire world. I have clients in Canada, in the UK, in Italy, in Mexico, in Asia, in Australia. I've got clients everywhere. I work with private schools, but there's so much money in private schools. First of all, there isn't, and public schools. And second of all, I don't want to work with public schools. They're not my audience. So we need to ask the right questions. It's not how do I get the right families? It's who do I want to serve? When I wake up in the morning, who do I want to get out of bed and serve? Okay. All right. I'm at the top here. I never close the loop. I'm going to start. Beautiful. There's your quick action step, right? Like these are little things that when you do them, your retention goes up. Okay. So I'm going to leave you with this. If you're ready, and you know you want to join the program and you know that you're looking for support, the templates, all of those things, click the link. Let's get you on a call with myself, with my team. If you're still looking for more resources, you're still hunting for a little bit more, on Monday at 12 Eastern, I'm doing an implementation workshop. You'll get the link to that in the follow-up email that we're going to be sending out. So as you're signing off, would love to just hear from you. What is your biggest takeaways from our time together? Angie, this is great. Thank you so much. You're so welcome. Biggest insight from today. If I ask, who do I want to serve? The question I will get everyone since we're in the ministry. Well, I hear you, but the answer isn't everyone, because if you serve everyone, you serve no one. So who do you want to actually serve from within the ministry? Right? Who do you want to serve? I have 4 kids. They go to 3 different schools, all Jewish schools, but different schools. So it's not so much about like what faith you like that component. It's which part of the demographic do I want to serve, right? So my youngest son, the school there has a hyper focus on certain things that I want for my son, but my girls go to a different Jewish school that has a specific focus that I want for my girls. So both Jewish schools, totally different parent demographic, totally different parent demographic. Okay. Biggest insights here. Personalize your communication. You'll gain respect from the community. Beautiful, Deb. So good to see you again. Ask the right questions. Sync your calendar. Thank you. I think it's Julissa. Again, would love to connect with you ladies. So definitely book a call if you want to connect. Katie, changing wording is changing everything, especially perspective. Yes. Know who you want to serve, understand them better. I love that. I love that. Flip the questions. Beautiful. Again, thank you all for joining me. It has been a pleasure. Really, really enjoyed connecting with all of you. Take care, everyone, and thanks for joining me. Bye, everyone. If your accountant has ever told you to cut back on professional development or slash your teacher appreciation budget or your staff development budget just so you could stay afloat, or has told you, hey, you probably can't go invest in that program, please listen. The problem is not that you're spending too much money on your people or yourself or your investment or your support system. It's that your school has invisible money leaks that are draining your profit, leaks that no spreadsheet will ever catch or accountant. So I created the 6 money leaks of schools that show you the 6 core areas that schools lose money every single month without realizing it. If you close even one of them, your profits will start to soar without sacrificing your team. Go get it now and stop blaming the things that are actually building your school.